Welcome to Organizational Behavior. So the agenda for this course orientation video will include an introduction of myself to you folks. I will talk to you about the textbook in the course, the teaching and learning plan, how you will be evaluated, course organization, and weekly class meetings. So just a little overview of what organizational behavior is all about. So it's a field of study that investigates the impacts of individuals, groups, and structures on the behavior within organizations. So the purpose is to apply the principles to help improve the effectiveness of an organization. So here you see on the screen a process chart or model depicting basically the components of organizational behavior. So under the study of OB, we'll look at individuals and sort of examine how different personalities and values and diversity can affect an organization and its processes. We'll also look at it at the group level. So we'll examine groups within an organization, their structure, their roles, their responsibilities, and test them in different conditions to see how that can affect processes and outcomes in the organization. And we also study the organization at the macro level. So that's kind of looking at the culture and the structure as a whole, and how human resource practices and change practices can impact the organization, improve its productivity and survival. So my name is Susan Aylard, and I'm going to be instructor for this course. I've been teaching with Niagara College since 2010, so quite a number of years. Right there on your screen, you can see that I've posted my email address. So it's saylard@niagaracollege.ca. I try to respond as quickly as I possibly can, but my service response promise to you is that I will try to get back to emails within 24 hours, except on the weekend. So if you email me Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, don't expect a response until the following Monday. So I'm also available for a virtual hour every Monday from 5 to 6 o'clock. So you just give me an email and let me know that you're going to want to speak with me, and we can chat and meet on Blackboard Collaborate on Mondays between 5 and 6. So just to help us get to know each other a little bit better, especially in the virtual environment, it takes a lot longer for us to get to know our classmates because we are not in a classroom together. So to help facilitate that, I have set up an introductory discussion board. So this week, one of the things that I would like you to go is to click on discussion boards and click onto the class introduction discussion board and introduce yourself. So that's actually going to be graded. So I'm giving you a 0.5% grade just for completing that. So basically I want you to tell us something about you, maybe some favorite hobby or activity, maybe a favorite memory, and also post a picture of yourself. So it's supposed to be very informal. And so if you could do that before before Tuesday, January 19th. Again, it's a very simple activity, but it helps us understand who each other is and get to know your classmates a little bit better, and for me to get to know you a little bit better. We do have a textbook in this course. It's called Organizational Behavior, Concepts, Controversies, and Applications. And the author of that textbook is Nancy Langton, Stephen Robbins, and Timothy Judge. So we're using the 8th edition, and it's published by Pearson. So that title, that textbook title it's listed on the teaching and learning plan, as well as the course outline also has the textbook listed on it. One of the most important documents that I would direct you to is the teaching and learning plan. In fact, that's a document, if you're going to print out anything, this is the piece of information that I think you should print out, because the teaching and learning plan gives you the week-by-week schedule of topics, textbook readings, and activities and assignments. So you can see what it looks like there up on the screen. It gives you the weeks and what you're doing. So that's a very important document and one you should print out. So I'm going to tell you where you can find your teaching and learning plan. So if you go to your course shell for this class and you click on course information, so I'm just going to circle that right there, course information, click on that tab, and then once you get into course information, you're going to find your teaching and learning plan. So how will you be evaluated in this course? What is graded? So we do have a couple of assignments, and the assignments are worth 38% of your grade. And then we also, every single week, except for week 1, you will have a chapter quiz. So that's worth 22% of your grade. And then you also have a midterm exam and a final exam. Each of those are worth 25%. So your first assignment is a collection of activities that we call the reflection journal, and that's worth 10% of your grade. So you will have 5 reflection journals that you have to complete. They'll be in week 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that means that next week is your first reflection journal. You have to submit your reflection journals by the Friday of that week. So that means that next week, on January 22nd, you have your first journal due. So every Friday, you're going to be submitting them for weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And all final submissions must be completed and submitted by Friday, February the 19th. So ideally, you're going to want to get them submitted in the week that they're due. I'll accept them after the due date, but if you submit them late, I'm going to be taking a 10% deduction off the grade for that week's reflection journal. So say you submitted 2, 3, 4, 5 all on time, and then journal 6 you submit it late. On journal 6, I will take a 10% deduction off that particular journal. But if you, anything that comes in after February 19th, I'm not going to grade at all. That will not be part of your final grade. So where are you going to find that information to complete those reflection journals? You should be going into your weekly modules for those weeks, and in the weekly modules you'll find all the information for completing the reflection journals. The second assignment is a leadership inventory. And the leadership inventory is an essay, and it's not due until April 9th, but it's worth quite a bit. It's worth 17.5% of your final grade. But the thing about it is you'll want to start taking a look at that assignment because it's a pretty important one, in that you have to find a leader to actually interview. So it can be somebody that you know, it can be a family member, that's fine, but they have to have been in a leadership role from either a private, a public, or a not-for-profit organization. So you have to find you have to find a leader. You're going to have to create interview questions, and you're going to have to interview them and write an essay based on the information that you gathered when you interviewed them, plus research that you've done on the concepts in our course, as well as integrating information from the textbook. So you're going to be devising or designing questions around key concepts in this course. So we're studying things like leadership style, values, managing teams, motivation of employees, communication, managing conflict, culture, structure, and challenges. All of those elements that we learned, all those concepts that we learned in this class, you're going to have to design questions around those concepts to ask your leader, and that's what your essay is going to be based on. There are 2 exams in the class, and the exams will be online exams. So your first midterm exam will be held in week 7, and it covers all the material up to week 7. So weeks 1 through 6 will be tested on your midterm. Your second exam will be your final exam, which is in week 14, and that covers only the content from weeks 8 to 13. Each of your exams will be 2 hours in duration, and you'll have that link accessible for 24 hours. The format will be short answer and multiple choice type questions. So for week 7 and week 14, when you have your midterm and your final exam, where are you going to find that exam? Okay, so what you'll do is you're going to look for the weekly module, and in the weekly, you click on that, and then you'll find a folder that looks like this. It'll be week 7, and it'll be called your midterm exam, and you just click on that. And during the duration of your test period, you'll just click on that and your exam will appear. So again, that's not till week 7. So your exam is going to be open and available to you February 22nd, starting at 6 a.m. and it will close the next day at 9 a.m. on February the 23rd. So February 22nd is really the main date for your online exams for the midterm, and then your final exam will be week 14, and that'll be Monday, April the 19th, and closing in the morning on the 20th. So here in this business school at Niagara College, we do have a test policy that says that tests must be written in the specified time period. And if you don't write it in the scheduled time period, you'll get an automatic grade of 0. And there'll be no opportunity for you to write that missed test unless there are a special arrangements that you have made with me, the instructor. And that will be only in certain specific circumstances. So if you become ill during the test period, or if you have a death in the family, or a court date, or jury duty, or a car accident, or your scheduled surgery for that time period, those would be the only types of exceptions that I would allow you to write the test at another time. But you need to contact me 5 days prior to the scheduled test to request that rescheduling, to request that exception. Unless it's an emergency situation and say you're in an accident or become ill, and of course you wouldn't know that 5 days prior. But if that does arise where you can't write it during the time period and you didn't contact me 5 days before, then you should contact me as soon as possible. And it's not an automatic guarantee that you'll get to rewrite it after the fact. So it's going to be based on a case-by-case circumstance. So every Monday we're going to be meeting for a live weekly lecture. So that's for us to come together synchronistic and talk about the different topics and chapter content. So those live lectures will be held every Monday from 3:30 to 5. So I'll be lecturing for an hour and a half, and then following that lecture, I will have my virtual office hour from 5 to 6, and that's an opportunity for question and answer, anything related to the course content. So where do you find those live weekly class meetings? How are you going to access? So you're going to go to the course shell, and you're going to look for the tab in Blackboard that says live weekly class meetings Monday at 3:30, and you'll just click on that, and you'll see a screen on the screen here. It'll say live weekly class meetings, a little folder. You'll just click on that folder, and then it'll take you to all the weeks of the lecture, and you just click on the date, and that'll bring you right into our live lecture. I do plan on recording the lectures, so if you have accessibility issues or something that arises that does not allow you to attend the lecture live, then you can watch them after the fact. And I have posted a video on how to access the recorded lectures, and you can find that in the course information area. But I do recommend, if you are not coming to the live synchronous lecture, you're missing out on an opportunity to ask me questions, to get clarifications, and to engage in activities that are related to the content. And sometimes things can get away with us. We have, good intentions to watch the recorded lectures, and then we don't do it, and it piles up. And then it comes to midterm or final exams, and we have to watch a lot of videos in a short period of time. And when we do that, we're not able to process the information to the same degree because we're trying to cover too much content in a short period of time. So don't let it pile up. Try to come to the live lectures as much as you possibly can, okay? Because you want to engage in your learning, and you'll have greater success if you are structured and disciplined and come to the live classes. So every week in this class, we do have a module, and in those module folders, you just click on weekly modules, and you'll click in, and you'll see that every week has its own folder. And in those folders, you'll have things like information about the weekly topic, what the learning outcomes are, you'll have the chapter PowerPoint. You also have the information about what you need to do in your reflective journal assignments. So right now, what I have available for you is the first 7 weeks of the course. So you have all the module folders from weeks 1 to 6, plus the folder for week 7 is your exam folder. So just chunk it out week by week, right? So just, as we're in week 1, January 11th to the 15th, take a look at that. Maybe start looking at week 2, but it's all there for you. But just don't overwhelm yourself. Just go week by week. So for this week, in our weekly module, so we don't actually have a live class this week. Because you start on a Monday, what I really want you to do is just to settle in and familiarize yourself with the course shell, purchase the textbook, and read all the materials about, look at the assignments, what the expectations are. Go on and complete your introductory discussion board, and then maybe take a peek at week 2, because in week 2 you start to have things that are due. So week 2, on the Friday, January 22nd, you actually have 2 things due. You have your chapter quiz for chapter 2, and then you also have your reflection journal, which is basically, that reflection journal is asking you to complete 2 emotional intelligence online quizzes and to answer a couple of reflection questions about how you did in those, what you learned about yourself in those self-assessments. So that's it for this video. and your introduction to organizational behavior and the structure of the course. I'm looking forward to meeting you in week 2 for our first class meeting on Monday, January 18th at 3:30 p.m.